So this project started as me creating a pattern for the basins, and then that grew into really this artist collaboration, where it started as me as a designer just retelling the history through the patterns, and now it really grew into this real artist collaboration where I was able to put a pattern that I made, my voice, on the basin, and then that same pattern dances on the sculpture, which is the sort of structure of my world. So it's a little bit of a back and forth of my voice on their products and then me making my own products with their materials. And it's called Second Glance, which is about this notion of when you look at something the first time, you don't really get everything. But when you look at it again, and you really see all the small details. So a big part of my work is this idea of how to see the smaller details of life. And Second Glance enables you to see the smaller details. So at first the pattern may look like an abstraction, but then when you look closer, there's a whole history of the company built into this pattern as well. Yeah, so it started by me going to the factory in Matlock and going to the museum and looking at all their old pieces and then going through the process of how they're actually making the porcelain, pouring the powders and the silts and the kilns. And that's really like alchemy, it's really like magic, you know, to see this process. And then I'm using the drawings that make the pattern are from their history as well. So I then researched into all their history and chose a couple key people that were involved with the arts and a couple key patterns that also related to my world as well. And then I sort of deconstructed them to reconstruct them again into this new story. Design is really, I think, not just a practice, but it's really a way of life in my mind, where whether it's the way you design the way you eat food or the way you dress yourself, everything has a logic and a function behind it. And to me, if back to the sense of seeing the smaller details in the world, and design to me is really appreciating the small details, the function of very small things. So if we can appreciate the small details in design or in my artwork, hopefully you can also see the smaller details in life. And so when you're walking down the street, you maybe look at the small things versus just the big things.